By the stars of St. Matthew. Scene 1. 1937. A farmhouse late at night, wee hours of the morning, low levels of light. Kip Haley lies propped up on a couch, pillows behind him. His chest is wrapped in bandages covering up a shoulder wound. Iris Wellman sits across from him in a wooden chair. She's sipping hot tea. On the nightstand next to him is a lamp and a 38 snub nose, the handle sticky with blood. On the walls are landscape paintings done in the style of the Group of Seven, in particular A.J. Cassan.
Where am I?
I found you in the church, my husband's church.
Oh, the little building.
Yes.
He adjusts on the couch, flexes his hands, looks at them oddly.
You're now in the farmhouse down the hill from the church.
My hands feel funny, caked with,
Blood?
I was going to say a layer of mud or candle wax or.
He flexes them again. Kip, suddenly desperate, sitting more upright.
They follow me here, Red and Tiny. They thought I was dead. They left me for dead on a gravel road, and then they blew up the car, two in the gas tank, and I played dead, while fingers of flame crawled toward me.
No one's following you. Eat some soup. You've lost a lot of blood. The bullet went clean through. I sewed the wound. Have to watch for infection. I'm a veterinarian, not an MD.
Holds out her hand in greeting.
Iris Wellman.
Kip, nodding, searching the night, stand for his smokes.
You did a good job.
I know who you are.
I didn't shoot the cop.
The cop's dead.
Red Thompson, he pulled the trigger. I tried to stop him. Did stop him from shooting the teller. She got scared and pressed the alarm with her foot or something, but I stopped him.
They mentioned that on the radio. 23, recently married. Sandra.
Did they mention a car burning in Richmond Hill?
The getaway car? Yes.
That's where my corpse was supposed to be. And that's why I'm worried. There's no report of me being dead. Red will come looking for me.
The car burning? That's about 3 miles from here.
I walked that far.
Apparently. I always leave the church light on in the tower.
I was just looking for a place to get warm.
The church, my husband always saw it as a beacon, a lighthouse, if you will.
Look, I was trying to hotwire your truck, all right? The Dodge you have with the chains on the tires. But I got cold. So I went in the church to get warm. And I passed out, I guess. I never did learn how to hotwire anything. Red's the one who knew how to do that. While we were switching cars, he shot me. Like I said, I played dead.
The cop wasn't playing. Had a family. 2 girls. His name,
I don't want to know his name.
William McGivern.
Kip reaches for his deck of smokes on the side table, shakes out the pack, places it between his lips.
I mean, he just came in off the beat randomly. He wasn't even supposed to be there at all. And Red, he lost it.
Lights his cigarette.
You call the cops?
There were no bullets in your gun. It hasn't been fired.
You call the cops.
No.
It was supposed to be my last job, the last job. We were going to be done with all this.
Pauses and studies the series of nature paintings on the walls.
I like the paintings.
They're okay. Hanging them was my husband's idea.
There's no people in them.
Well, and landscapes. That's what I was into then. Eat some soup.
I'm not hungry.
You look pale. I can get you a sandwich.
Oh, no, my head's spinning. I can't eat. Paintings. Landscapes, huh? I like that. Yeah, you can't trust people.
I'm trusting you.
I haven't been in church in years. But when I was in that church, I don't know. I suddenly felt myself dissolving into something more, being swallowed up by the warmth. I, and then I passed out. Sorry, I'm rambling. My head, it's like full of cotton candy.
Kip cups his cigarette, takes a drag.
You were in the war.
Yeah, Vimy.
He takes another short drag, exhales.
I'm sorry, I was rude. I didn't offer you one or ask if it was okay for me to light up. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I don't smoke. I can tell you're a veteran by the way you cupped your cigarette when you lit it. My husband used to do that. He was in Ypres, although they called it wipers. Every time he smoked, he covered the glow of the cigarette.
Yeah, so the enemy can't see you. Yeah.
He was a medic. He died a couple of years ago. The small church you were in was his idea. He called it the Stars of St. Matthew after the Beatitudes.
Matthew, huh? Yeah, I don't put much stock in the Bible. I mean, I love the stories, but I take care of myself because I can't trust anyone else to take care of me. Don't think much on God.
But what about that feeling you had in his church?
I don't know. It might have been from the blood loss.
My husband was a Mennonite. He believed you could reach people's greater selves through love and understanding. I'm glad you didn't steal my truck. People count on me in this community. Small farms. I get calls sometimes at 2, 3 in the morning. Sick animals don't care much about what time it is.
It wasn't for lack of trying. I wanted that truck. Look, some people are just bad. Based on all I've done, I may be one of those people.
You're not. I don't think I believe that some people are born bad. The world makes them that way.
I can't agree with that. Not with what I've seen. Some people, they got no shades of gray. They're just bad, like Red. He should be shot like a wild animal.
My husband would have rather died trying to reach someone like Red than shoot him like an animal.
Red's not worth dying for. A guy like Red, all the love of Jesus ain't going to do nothing to stop him. If Red had a gun on him and you had one squirreled away, what would you do?
I don't have a gun squirreled away.
Yeah, but if you did.
That's hypothetical. And I don't.
Come on now. You're a doctor. You deal in hypotheses, diagnoses.
I would find another way. I wouldn't kill.
Not a man to reason with. He's not a man to reason with.
Always another way.
Yeah, the other way, to wind up dead. That's the other way. You sure you don't have a gun squirreled away?
I don't. Words. Love has power. You don't need bullets.
Oh, please. Force is all that Red knows.
He holds up two clenched fists and grimaces, his shoulder hurting.
My hands feel weird.
He looks at them.
My husband's favorite story in the Bible comes from Matthew. The woman that's about to get stoned and Christ stops them. How? By boldly challenging them. He who is without sin.
Yeah. Don't judge the splinter in someone's eye when you got a log in your own, pal. Yeah, I get it.
It's not just about judgment. It's about activism. Christ put himself between the ones ready to hurl the rocks and the woman. He put his body on the line. He was willing to take the beating, to die for her, for them. Those actions, that heroism, love for her and them, stopped them.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Just like you did. You stopped Red from killing Sandra. You, with your empty gun, got between him and her.
So what are you saying? I'm a Christ figure now? That's rich.
That woman's alive because of you.
And the cop's dead because of me. At least in the eyes of the law, I'm equally guilty. I suppose you see good in me, huh?
I didn't call the police, did I? Eat your soup.
I told you I'm not hungry.
And yes, I see good in you.
Okay. Okay. You keep looking at me with those big pleading eyes. Enough already. I'll eat.
Takes a spoonful of soup, then another, and then lifts the bowl to his mouth and swallows the soup directly, quickly.
Ah, sorry you had to see that. Bad habit. In reform school, you had to eat fast or someone else would snag your eats, like 5 dogs fighting over a bowl of grub.
You often rob banks with an empty gun?
When I was in combat, a lot of guys never even fired their rifles. In hand to hand, they didn't even use their bayonets. I did. I killed. Rifle, pistol, bayonet. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm 37 years old. I got home. I couldn't hold down a job, slept with a gun under my pillow, and I drifted into crime. My ex-girlfriend Whitney is now hooked up with Red. She asked me to do this job as a final favor. She's addicted to cocaine. Needs it all the time. Started with morphine. She got hooked while I was away, 7-year stretch for armed robbery.
I'm sorry.
So your husband was a Mennonite, huh? That means he would have been a Conchi. That's what we called the peaceniks, Conchis. And that's why he was a medic.
Yes. He died from a form of TB, the lingering effects of mustard gas. The church was, I don't know, where he found his meaning after the war.
Yeah, maybe that is what I felt when I was in there, a real sense of peace. Like I could just let myself go and no more problems. It wasn't so much that I was embracing God. I think I was embracing death.
Maybe it was a little of both.
So how about you? You keep calling it your husband's church. You don't go? The good book?
Every time I go in there, I feel guilty, like I should be continuing his ministry. But my job working with the farm animals,
Yeah, so why didn't you call the cops?
I don't know. The empty gun, the saving of Sandra, the teller. I think there's something in you that can be reached. Maybe I'm trying to live in my husband's church in the real world. Why do any of us do half of the things we do? Something's telling me that what I'm doing is right. I think that's God working through me to you.
I ain't worth it. I'm sure God has better plans for you.
Oh, I don't know.
The phone rings.
I got to take this. It's probably an emergency.
Sure.
Iris picks up the phone and listens.
Yes. Okay. I can be there in 5 minutes. Keep the coffee hot. It's the McHales. They've got a cow suffering through labor. In all probability, it's a breech birthing. I gotta go.
Sure.
Help yourself to more soup. It's on the stove. There's cold cuts in the fridge.
She throws on her wool coat and quickly wraps a scarf around her neck.
If you get cold, throw some more wood on the fire. It's in the breezeway. Don't wander off with that wound. You won't get very far.
No.
And rest. I might be a while. Rest.
Welcoming the stranger, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust me completely.
I'm not scared.
I still might try to steal your truck.
You might.
She smiles, blackout. Scene 2, the next night, sitting in the living room, cleared off dinner plates by the nightstand, and on the coffee table, a deck of cards haphazardly pushed to the side.
All right, you're a better gin rummy player than me, and you kicked my butt at poker.
How about Scrabble?
Oh, you're no fun.
He reaches for a cigarette, cups his hand, lights it.
You know my ex, she made lousy eggs. I mean, how can you make lousy eggs?
Iris shrugs.
You didn't tell me before the paintings. They're yours. You did them. Iris Gibson, maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. The Muskokas.
Timmins, a mining town. I grew up there. My sister still lives there. She's a social worker, works with a lot of women from Eastern Europe. She helps get them, education and learning English.
The colors, I mean, they jump off the canvas.
Coconut oil in the paints. I mix it in. My own idea. Creates vibrancy.
Reminds me of AJ Katz's painting, you know, the one on about Markham.
Well, I painted these before then. That painting debuted in
1936.
How did you?
Prison Library. I know a lot about Gauguin too. Ooh, hot stuff.
He makes a va-va-voom gesture with his good arm. She laughs.
I always liked reading. When I was in reform school, the other kids thought I was odd, toss a sheet over me and made my face into grapefruit pulp. That happened more than once. I learned to keep to myself.
Kip takes a drag off his cigarette.
But I kept reading. Yeah, I probably read the whole Bible twice. Hemingway's In Our Time 7 times. I always been on the outside looking in.
Like the fella in the cave, the book of
Mark, the tombs.
You really have read your Bible.
Prison Library. Anyway, I love that story. The guy's isolated, his mind becoming unbalanced. And that's how I felt. For months after the war, all I wanted to do was look at maps to see the places I fought in, the land I covered, because when I was there, it was just trenches, rain, mud, and rats. So Christ arrives, heals this fella, asks his name. I mean, that's a big deal, and the fella wants to join Christ's ministry, but Christ tells him, no, return to the community and spread the gospel to the community. I mean, what kind of advice is that? The community rejected him and he has to go back. Me, I'd never go back. I would never want to be a part of that community ever. Me, I'd want to go with Christ.
You still can. Just like that man. Even though he went back to the community, he was with Christ and Christ was with him.
Christ with you now?
Yeah.
I don't see him.
He's here, sitting between us.
Sure. Okay, let's get back to the paintings, huh? And they're great. None of them are signed Wellman.
I always wanted to be an artist, but I didn't come from money, so I had to do something practical. I always loved animals, so I went into vet med. I had to put a horse down today. Aspiration pneumonia. It never gets easier.
I'm sorry.
He doesn't know what to do. Wants to reach for her hand. Doesn't.
You can still paint.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to it. There's $20 in the coffee pot.
Huh?
When I was dealing with the horse, you went through my things. My dresser drawers, the medicine cabinet, the shelves under the sink. I know because I put little chits inside bits of paper, and I found several bits on the floor here and there. You looking for money? Coffee pot.
I didn't even check there. That seems so obvious. I
don't have much of value. Some money, a truck. I don't have any weapons in the house.
But you do. You may not have a gun, a rifle, but you have fertilizer, and I can make a bomb out of that. You also have kerosene, great for Molotov cocktails, just saying. And you have a can of gasoline.
You need something, ask. Don't go snooping around.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Takes a drag.
I won't do it again, I promise. But I do like your paintings. Man, I wasn't snowing you. You should paint again. I mean it.
I've been thinking about it. Really.
Good.
My husband didn't ask me to stop painting.
I didn't think so.
But I always felt selfish about painting because it took time away from him to go out in the world. It's so lonely painting. It's a pleasant kind of isolation.
Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't paint just landscapes. Paint portraits. You could have painted him.
We always wanted kids, but...
Yeah.
What else can I kick your butt at? Monopoly?
Bring it.
Quick blackout. Lights up. It's now an hour later. She has hotels on several properties and huge stacks of money. He's barely hanging in there. A thrushing, crackling sound, bright lights outside the window, an orange glow.
What the?
They both rise and move to the window. A roar of flames intensifies.
The church is on fire.
Iris runs to the phone near the kitchen. She picks it up and the front door kicks in. Red Thompson enters, a large wool Bolshevik-type hat sitting haphazardly on his head, almost covering his eyes. A .45 automatic clamped in his right hand, a gasoline can in his left hand. His overcoat is unbuttoned. His sweater has 2 or 3 moth-eaten holes in it. Over his right shoulder is Whitney. She's wearing a tan coat and a pair of man's boots, too big for her feet. She rubs the back of a hand under her nose.
All right, put the phone down and step away.
Iris does as she's told. He places the gasoline can to the left of him. Red to Kip.
I don't know how you survived, soldier, but you did. And I should have known to double check.
Red to Iris.
I even blew up the car, huh? This guy survived Vimy, and we all know what kind of a meat grinder that was.
Enough talk, Red. Honey, get me the stuff. She's a doctor. She's got stuff. All doctors do. Doesn't matter what kind.
Whitney paces small, tight circles. Red to Iris.
So you have stuff, the white stuff?
Cocaine is actually beige.
Don't go making wise. I know you don't have cocaine.
It's coke she's on, isn't it? The eyes.
Whitney's pacing becomes a wider and wider circle.
Yes, but well, we're all out of coke. And we figured you had morphine or something for the pain. The other doctor, the MD in town, was on a call.
Why did you torch the church?
I wanted to make an entrance, soldier. That's why.
No, you're a real jerk.
Oh yeah, jerk. I'm sure if the lady wasn't present, you'd be using more pithy language.
Just get the stuff. Huh? Please, Red. Honey.
Red taking turns waving his gun at Iris and Kip.
You heard my woman. Get it. That fire is going to bring the cops, the fire department, probably the whole auxiliary curling team, huh? So I'm not standing on ceremony here. Get moving, Doc.
How did you?
How did I find you? Well, when I heard that Kip hadn't bought it, I figured where could he get to? This is the closest town within 5 miles of that car drop.
If you're here to kill Kip, I'm not giving you or Whitney anything.
Well, Kip embarrassed me in front of that girl at the bank, so he's got to get got.
Like I said,
And what you have to say doesn't really matter, because I might just kill you too.
you might.
Look, Red, let Iris go.
Oh, it's Iris now. You two look kind of cozy. Game night here on the farm. Very intimate, very intimate.
Let her fix Wit with what she needs and then take me. You want me? Take me.
He holds out his arms.
My days are numbered, but Iris has a lot of important things to do. She does a lot of good for the people around here. The fire is going to bring the police anyway, and
You're willing to die for her?
yeah,
Red to Iris.
And you're willing to let him die for you?
He wouldn't have offered 2 days ago. He
You two are screwy.
Red wipes the edges of his mouth. Red to Kip.
You know, I figured you for the rat that ratted us out to the cops. They surrounded the hideout. They killed Tiny, and we barely.
I didn't talk to the cops.
Red to Iris.
Did you?
They got a job to do, but
Oh, so you don't like cops?
I didn't say that. I just don't think they should carry guns.
Oh, sure. So you don't like cops carrying guns, but once you're in trouble, who's the first people you call? Cops with guns. Didn't I catch you on that phone?
Come on, Red. Enough talk. Let's get the stuff. And get before the town arrives.
Will you stop moving? That whole circling around thing is driving me crazy. Just sit down.
She
You don't
does
need to
so,
talk to me
finding,
like,
finding a hardback chair, folding in on herself. She taps her feet heavily on the floor.
you don't need to talk to me like that.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. God, she used to be so beautiful.
Kip says nothing. Iris fetches her doctor's bag and prepares a needle. She prepares a second one, too.
She'll need another dose in 8 or 9 hours, but that's all I got.
She crosses over to Whitney, helps her off with her coat, rolls up a sleeve.
So the fire is just a commotion so you can get away?
Yeah, that's right.
A diversion?
Yep. And I took a big risk just to come over here.
And you're still gonna kill Kip?
Yep, that's right.
Another diversion.
Well, no, let's just file that under personal.
He smiles a chilling, dirty smile. Whitney falls out of her chair and curves into the floor. Red quickly moves toward her. He genuinely loves her.
What's going on? Whitney?
As he steps to her, Iris picks up the second needle and jabs Red in the neck with it. He stumbles, dropping the automatic. Kip kicks it across the room and then places Red in standing half Nelson. Red's hands flail at their sides, and then the effects of the drug take hold and he collapses, and Kip gently drags him over to the living room couch.
What the heck was in those needles?
Phenobarbital. The stuff can knock out a horse. I was so nervous.
You could have fooled me.
I told you there was another way.
Yeah.
When my husband was a medic, a guy in the tented infirmary lost his moorings, grabbed a scalpel, and was threatening the doctors. And Ricky, that's my husband, charged the fellow with a mattress, pinning him to the wall until he could finally be subdued. I gave them a gram each. They'll be asleep for 8 or 9 hours.
She grabs some rope from under the kitchen sink and starts tying Red and Whitney up. Kip helps.
And then what? With the hill and the church burning up on that hill, the police are surely coming.
Yeah, and they'll have these two waiting for them.
And me too.
Iris crosses to her tan overcoat on the coat rack, reaches into the pockets, digs around, searches.
You really would have died for me?
Hey, don't make a big deal about it. It was nothing. I mean, the cops catch me, they're going to hang me.
I don't think so. You saved Sandra. Witnesses saw it.
But my girlfriend died. The run's almost done for me.
Iris, still digging about the pockets of her coat.
Weird.
What?
My keys. I swear.
Kip reaches into his jeans pockets and pulls out the truck keys.
I was going to take the truck when you were asleep, but I decided against it.
When did you decide against it?
When we were playing Monopoly and you were talking about how the McHales thanked you by giving you 2 loaves of bread and fresh milk and cream. I don't know. I guess I just was thinking about how it's all connected, you know. You and the people of this town, they need you and they need your truck and they need it a lot more than I do. I was just waiting for you to go to bed to put the keys back.
She squeezes his hand and goes to the phone, dials. Kip places couch pillows by the sleeping Whitney and Red.
Jeannie, it's Iris. I need a big favor. Kip Haley is with me. Yes, the bank robber. And no. Yes, he saved Sandra. He's all right. He carries a gun with no bullets. Paraffin test. I gave him a paraffin test the first night. No traces of gunpowder. He didn't shoot the cop. No. Yes, he could have been wearing gloves. But when I found him in the church, he had no gloves. Look, trust me. Have faith. He's okay and he needs help. Tonight. He offered his life for mine. Look, I'm bringing him tonight. I trust him. Okay, okay. Maybe he is one of my reclamation projects. But okay, thanks. Love you.
She hangs up.
Paraffin. I mean, that's why my hands felt so.
I hope nobody was listening in on the party line.
Your sister, the social worker.
Yeah, she'll get you a job in the mines and you can stay with her for a while. I'll tell the cops that you forced me to drag you west to Kitchener, but then we'll head to north to Timmins instead. I'll be back in 24 hours.
I don't know. Your sister, Jeannie?
Have faith. She's a social worker. She trusts me.
Yeah, but does she trust me?
She will. Look, we have to hurry. We don't have much time.
Iris throws on her coat and scarf, tosses Kip his coat, and slides into her boots.
I don't know. Faith?
Christ was a social worker, you know.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
You know, I see the next painting you're going to paint. You know, like when this is all over and you're back here working by the stars of St. Matthew, a landscape with people, deep blue night, spots of stars, white scallops of snow caressing the curve to the land, and a beige church on a hill, simple and plain. There's a young girl, 4 or 5, in a pink coat and a red sled, preparing to slide the waves, and you're looking on, your expression hidden by the scarf, but there's happiness. Happiness rides in your shoulders, and the snow, it faintly falls, and I'm nowhere to be found.
He slips into his shoes and reaches for the door handle.
That's poetic. But I see a different painting. It's you on a different hill with tall pine trees swaying in the wind. And those are your kids, 2 of them. Your wife stands off just a bit, tan coat, white collar, Robin Hood boots, reaching for your hand and you reaching for hers.
Yours is more hopeful. It's a more hopeful painting, but mine's more real.
I don't think so.
I do, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Blackout.